Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you've not done so, I would request you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that whenever I come up with new videos and new content, which will bring a lot of value to you, you're the first one to get notified. If you like the videos and the content that I bring to you through my channel, you may want to hit the like button. You may want to comment on any of those videos, or you may want to simply share these videos and share my channel with your network so that they can also benefit from the value that I try to deliver from my channel. So let's look at today's video. What I'm going to be talking about, a very important concept in sales called push selling or push sales. So what is push selling? I'm sure over a period of time, you would have been a part of push selling or you would have push sold to somebody. I'll tell you what I'm trying to talk about. So let's first understand what is push selling. Simply put, sellers push their products or services to buyers in a market. That's what is called push selling. Now, remember the time when you were young or when you were a kid and you wanted a particular toy or you wanted a particular game or you wanted a particular sports equipment, right? You would have pushed your parents for that, or you would have pushed somebody elder at your home, maybe your grandparents, your parents, your relatives, right? That I want this and I want that, right? That is what? That is push selling. Now, as we grow up, we don't want to be push sold ourselves. And that's the irony. Let's take this forward. So, why is push selling needed? Why is push selling needed? Well, again, it's a threefold objective for any organization or a product or a service provider to push sales. Number one is to increase revenues. Number two, of course, is to bring in profits. And number three is to deplete inventories, right? That is the reason push sales is accorded to. Now, what all is push sold? What all can we sell using push sales or push selling? Insurance products. I'm sure you would get so many calls over a week. Buy this insurance, buy that insurance. That's all cold calling. That's all telecalling, right? What they're trying to do is push their products to be sold. Banking products, primarily loans, investments, and so on and so forth. And there are other categories as well where a push selling technique is used, right? Now, this is another important question to ponder on. Is there a push in everything that is sold? Think about it. Don't look at what is written on screen in terms of the options. I'm going to discuss that, right? So think about it. Maybe pause this video and think about it for 10, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. That is there a push in everything that is sold? I would say yes and no. There is a push in everything that is sold, and no, there isn't a push in everything that is sold. Now let's understand both of these ideas. There is a push in everything that is sold when there is a nudge. So usually when you want to buy a product or a service, or you are, looking out into the market and you go ahead and have a look at the product, have a look at the service, and then you tell the seller that, okay, let me think it over and let me get back to you. And then probably you don't get back. In that case, there will be a nudge from that particular seller that what have you thought of? What is your decision? Whether you're going to buy it now, whether you're going to buy it later or not at all. So this is what we say is a push, right? No, exactly. This is a nudge. This is not a push. So the seller is not going to call you every single minute of the day or every single day of the week, buy my product and so on and so forth. So there is actually, it can't be called a push. It can be called a nudge. Now, this is important. I'll get to that point why this push is important. Now, is there a push in everything sold? And let's look at the answer of yes. Okay, yes, there is a push in everything that is sold. Now, that push is important for a buyer to take a decision. A buyer is not going to willingly take out his or her wallet and hand over the cash or the card to you that go ahead and swipe my card and go ahead then, go ahead and give me the bill and so on and so forth. So there has to be a push in everything that is sold. So yes, there is a yes and a no answer. But why this is important? This is important to help the buyer move from inertia. So when a buyer is considering a different repertoire of options to buy from, what usually happens is that there happens confusion in the mind of the buyer. And that is where a seller who is proactive, I'm not saying pushy, but proactive, may nudge the buyer. In that case, that is a push. Now, there are certain products which need to be pushed. So whether you talk about insurance products or banking products, primarily you need to push the buyers into making the buying decision. That also helps the buyer in making a decision. So push also helps the buyer in making a decision towards going ahead and buying that particular product or service. Another important question is push bad? Well, not always. Not always. We've spoken about this for quite some time on the previous slide, wherein I mentioned about the nudge. I mentioned about the move from inertia. I mentioned about the help in taking decisions, help the buyer in taking the buying decision. So push is not always bad. But again, push is important in order to ensure that you as a seller are in the awareness zone and visible to the buyer. But again, you have to respect the limits of the buyers. You can't really keep on pestering, so to speak. I'm using a very high degree of a word here. So you can't really pester the buyer, but you need to have a consistent follow up with the buyer. So you have to respect the limit. So if the buyer says, give me a call in the next 15 days, there are two things that you can do. First is wait for 15 days and then give a call, or maybe just ask the buyer that, okay, today is, let's say the 10th. So can I give you a call back on 25th? That is not bad. So the idea is that push is not always bad. It's important to move the buyer from the standpoint of considering a product or service to be bought to actually buying that particular product or service. Now, what are the primary modes of push sales? Emails. You get a lot of emails, cold emails. You get a lot of telephone calls. Buy this banking product or financial service product or insurance product. And you get a lot of digital messaging these days. You get a lot of course, WhatsApp messaging or text messaging or even emails. Emails again are a part of digital messaging per se. Or people may try to message you on different social platforms that you are on. You see a lot of messages coming out on Facebook, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. So these are primarily the different modes of push sales. Now, let me give you one golden rule before I end today's video, that you as a seller need to be mindful of the fact which type of customer or consumer you're dealing with. That is very important. Don't push the limits so that you lose the chance of making a sale in the future as well. That's very important. Try and understand if at a particular point in time, the buyer is not considering a buying decision. You must respect that. But at the end of the day, don't push the limits. Don't keep on following up with the buyer or the prospect, because in that case, you're going to be pushing the limits and you may lose the chance of making a sale in the future as well. That's one point to look at. Second point to look at is, if you're dealing with a customer prospect or a consumer prospect where you know that there will be a chance of references coming out or emanating from that particular prospect, you should be even more careful. Or there may be a possibility that this buyer is going to buy from you over a period of time. So then again, so these are certain cases where you need to be mindful of the fact that you don't want to push your limits. Have a consistent follow-up. Try to nudge the buyer as much as possible, but don't push the limits. So with this, I come to the end of this video, yet another video in the sales and communication series. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to make a comment on this video, go ahead and comment on this video. Or if you want to share this video with your network, please feel free to do so. And if you've not done so, I would request you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, hit the bell button so that you get notified of any new videos that I'm going to be coming up with on my channel. Till next time, take care, and I'm going to be back soon with more videos on the sales and communication series. Bye.